Hi, I'm Helen Sharp, known as Dina to Kira and Aiden.
And I'm Bari, and I'm their aunt, great aunt, excuse me.
Now, what other questions that you'd like to ask?
And this is my grandmother,
I'm her grandma, Nina.
Neen.
Okay.
Okay, so how old were you guys in the 60s?
All right, so that's 50 years ago. So I would have been 33.
And I would be 32.
32. Okay. Where were you born?
We were born in Philadelphia.
And where did you work?
I worked Chef Boyardee.
And I was a teacher
In the 60s?
in the 60s.
Was
Pardon?
it in the 60s that you worked there?
I started in 66.
So Kira asked follow-up questions, okay?
Okay, very well. All right. I was,
What's the look?
Mom. Kira's follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Okay, how long did you guys work as a teacher and at Chef Boyardee?
I worked at Chef Boyardee almost 35 years.
and I was a teacher for, oh gosh, I guess, I don't even remember. Teacher,
You can give an estimate.
okay, 6 years.
And do you remember what grades you taught?
I taught a junior high, I was a home ec teacher, and I taught junior high girls.
Is that loud enough that you can understand?
I'm pretty sure we might be able to edit it. Aiden, can we edit the noise louder in the edit?
Maybe.
Because Aunt Bar speaks softly.
Well, I'll speak louder.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. What was it like living in the 60s?
It was a lot nicer than it is now, that's for sure. Because we would go out and play oh, this is true, right? 60s was 50 years ago. I was 43.
Linda?
So it was all right. We survived.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I liked the 60s.
Was it 60s the year of the hippies?
Yeah, but we weren't into that type of thing. 'Cause-
What did you think of it? What was your opinion on it?
Well, I think people should be able to be free-spirited and do what they enjoy and love, and apparently people love doing that. They love music, and music is a wonderful thing.
What about you, Aunt Bari?
I was a music lover also, and we had very good friends, and it was a very, our area, the people were very friendly with each other.
So, I told my mom you grew up on a farm, was it?
No,
Well,
we grew up in the country, and I had a horse. We could ride all over the place.
Patches.
Patches was his name.
she had 3 horses, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we had Chief and Monsita.
Yes.
How that all, you know.
Okay. So, were you married?
Yeah, I was.
Yes, I'm still married to my husband,
What were their names?
There and Sharp.
Sam Parker. I loved gardening.
What did you do, like, on rainy days or storms?
On the rainy days, I would listen to music or help my aunt. We were raised by an aunt and uncle.
Well, in the 60s, so that you were in your 30s. So,
60s, no, I was married.
yeah,
Sorry.
we're going back and beyond.
It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, so, rainy days, what did you do on rainy days? Did you still play Sudoku?
Well, they didn't have that at the time. So you either read or, and of course I had my barn chores regardless. So. But we're getting offhand here because 60s, I was a married woman and
What was it like being a married woman in the 60s?
Well, it's not any different than it is now, you know.
Oh, yeah, because in the sixties I had children.
Yeah.
And
We're gonna have you so confused it's not even gonna be funny.
So, did you have children in the 60s?
Yes, I had children in the
And
sixties.
you had mom in
No, they
69.
were,
70.
your mom was in nineteen
Dad's
seventy.
69.
And Scott was 68. So I never dreamt I'd have all these grandchildren now.
You have a lot now.
Well, that's what happens each generation.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Okay, now about historical events. What historical event impacted you the most and why? In the 60s.
I can remember when World War II ended, and we had a cousin that was in the Navy, and we were so excited about him being able to come home. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
I do.
What was his name?
Charles Minton.
And do you remember the assassination of John F. Kennedy?
Yes, I do, and that was a shock.
Yes, I was in
A
school, I
big
remember that
Yeah.
very well.
Did you hear it when you got home from school or
No,
during
they-
school?
What?
Go ahead.
Well, I think we got most of it from TV, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was teaching school,
Yeah.
so they would come over the PAF systems and
It was sad.
updated us. Yeah, it was awful.
So sad.
It was awful.
What was your opinion? Were you angry?
Yeah.
Oh, very angry, I was.
So you loved him being president?
Well, you don't want to see any
It-
president
yeah.
assassinated, and
You
the
don't-
way it was done, and have his wife present in the car, and see how this all unfolded was terrible, absolutely terrible.
Okay. What about, do you remember the March on Washington? The I Have a Dream speech?
Yes,
What did you think of that?
I thought it was wonderful,
Yeah, I did too.
because we're all equal regardless of race, creed, or anything. We are human beings first, not racial. And it was good to see these people finally standing up for what they believed in and what they have, as every other American has.
I mean, we're very fortunate to be
Yes.
Americans. We are.
And that, his assassination was a shock and terrible.
Did you hear, do you remember what you were doing on that day?
I don't remember what I was doing, but it still, the whole thing was just terrible.
I was
It's a disbelief.
I was teaching school when they made the announcement. Very shocking.
Way too many assassinations.
Pardon?
Way too many assassinations.
Well, it's, the whole idea of it is, why are people so angry that they have to resort to doing such a thing?
We weren't raised that way.
No.
Do you also remember the Malcolm X assassination?
Yes, I do.
The,
Malcolm X, do you remember that one?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
did he have such an impact that Martin Luther King did to you?
No, I don't think Martin Luther King was more, Malcolm X was not as
Well known.
known as King was.
Do you remember what you did on that day?
No.
No? Like, did you find out on like a
Hey,
radio?
I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone.
Oh, Nina.
Yeah, I was in school. I remember because they announced it on the PA system.
Do you remember what school you taught at?
I taught at Sharon Hill High School.
Sharon.
Junior
Learn-
Senior High School. The tailwind bus.
Okay, let's lighten the mood. Do you remember the first lunar landing first lunar landing
On
of
the moon.
Apollo?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
That was awesome.
Yeah, everybody glued to the
Yeah,
TV.
yeah,
It was
that was
very
awesome.
exciting.
Were you nervous when it took off?
No, but
No,
I had to
I
lift my
think,
faith in them. Yeah, everything would go well.
Yeah.
Because they did a lot of testing before they sent anybody up.
That's
So,
good. And so you said you were very worried about this, but the Cuban Missile Crisis. What did you think of that?
Well, that was something to worry about because they're so close to our country that if it came to fruition, it would have been a terrible tragedy. And you don't think of your own country. We've never really been invaded, but now
We
it's,
had a lot of conflict.
yeah. So it was good they stopped it the way they did because it could have been a very, very bad thing.
Do you want to add anything?
No, this is,
We agree a lot.
So, what about the Civil Rights Act of 1960?
I don't remember that too much, do you? The Civil Rights Act.
What about you, Nina?
But it's a good idea because everybody has a civil right to be an American citizen.
I mean,
And
we're very fortunate to be as free as we are. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of countries that don't have the say that we have to say. And we
Well, they
can speak
can't
up.
or they're killed.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're very.
And we should respect what other people feel. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why we're such a great country, because we listen to other people. We try to anyway.
And regardless of what people think, there are factions that would try to stop that, but we still have the right to be able to be respectful but express our opinion and respect the opinions of others, whether you agree or disagree.
And sometimes, you know, if you listen, you're sometimes swayed the other way. It may be a better.
They may have a better point of view.
Yeah.
So, what did you watch the lunar landing at school, and what did the students think about
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they let us watch it
Yeah.
in school.
What
At
about
school,
you, Nina?
they set us up in the auditorium, and they had it for us all to watch, which was very exciting because I was afraid I was going to miss it.
What about you, Nina? Did you watch it on television?
I did watch it, and it's mind-boggling that they developed this so that they could go to these places and find out what other, because there's still, if you look up in that sky at night and see all the stars, our sun is a star,
Yeah.
you would wonder, well, how many other planets are there? And now they're getting close to being able to explore Mars,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic.
And we're so lucky to have
The knowledge.
the knowledge and be able to watch it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's exciting.
What type of music did you listen to in the 60s?
We were raised on classical music. Classical music, and when we were kids, we would ride the train into Philadelphia to go to the children's concerts at the Academy of Music. And that's where we saw Peter and the Wolf, where they used instruments for the wolf, the different,
Sounds.
the wolf was the drums, right? Or that was the hunters.
Yes.
And what was the duck? That was the oboe.
Oboe.
So
It was very
wonderful.
Yeah.
And that music lives on all these years. That today's music, you won't hear that 200 years from now, but classical music,
Yeah.
and it's very, very comforting.
Yeah, we were very lucky. We had an uncle and aunt that gave us season tickets to the Academy of Music, and we would go in.
But I like basically all kinds of music except rap. Not like rap. But easy listening is one of my favorite.
So, do you still listen to classical music today?
I do.
I do. Coming down in my trip down, I have it on all the way down.
Classical music is classic. It's forever.
Right. Do you have a favorite artist?
Oh
I
boy.
used to, what was the flutist that I used to,
What was his name?
please, forgive us, but when you get old, you forget.
Yeah. Oh, he was wonderful.
Yeah.
I
So,
can't think
well, what about the popular music of the 60s?
Popular music, I like Josh Groban.
The 60s, Nina. We're talking about the 60s.
Well, we got out of 60 a long time ago.
I know, but did you listen to
60.
Elvis or
Oh,
the Beatles?
Elvis. I did like Elvis, but not the way some people do. But I would listen to him.
What about you?
Because I love music, but I'm trying to think in the 60s. When back then.
Beatles, Elvis, what else, Mom?
Let me see. The '60s would have been the Supremes. No?
Yeah, oh, I love the Supremes. And what was the Gladys Knights and the Pips?
What
Did
type
you
of
remember
music were they?
Gladys Knight?
Yes, I remember
What
that.
type of music were they?
They were not. What do you call it, Joe?
Popular music.
Popular
Pop music at the time. So it was
Yeah.
a little R&B, a little pop. It was the.
Yeah. Gladys Knights and the Pips, and there
They
was
were
the
great.
Ames brothers.
Yeah.
Just your usual.
I mean, you know, the people that were popular at the time, you kind of stuck with what they were, but you had your choice, because there were some that you didn't really like, but
In country western, I love Charlie Pride. He was wonderful.
I want to actually know, how did you like do your hair, and how did you dress?
my hair's
Mine
the
was
same.
straight with bangs.
Yeah.
Huh?
You didn't do the beehive at that time?
I didn't do the beehive. Nope. Neither one of us did.
What did the
Did you
beehive
have long
look like?
hair
Or did you have short hair like
Because
now?
my hair's very thin and fine, and so, you know, it just looks straggly, so I've always kept short hair.
No, mine would come to my
Because
shoulders.
she has nice
But
thick
I
hair.
had the bangs.
How did you dress? Did you dress like everyone else, like with like the peace signs, the
No, we didn't do that
wait,
too much.
flowy pants? How did you dress?
I was always in jeans because I always had barn work to
Yeah,
do.
but we didn't wear jeans to school. We, you know, we just wore just skirts
Yeah.
and blouses, or we
We're
didn't wear-
getting
you
that
didn't wear- we didn't
before
wear
the
pants.
60s here.
Yeah, well, we didn't wear pants.
No.
We never wore pants
No.
to school.
Are there any other events you want to talk about? Maybe some in the early 70s or late 50s?
Well, I would go back to the 50s anytime. Things were so much more relaxed and
You can talk about it if you want.
Yeah.
What made it more relaxing?
Yeah, what made it more relaxing?
well, because people associated with each other more than they do today.
More peaceful?
We would be, hey, talk about mischievous. Girls could be very mischievous still.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
But we didn't do anything that would be harmful to anybody
yes,
or.
we did.
Huh?
I did.
What did you
What did
do?
you
Well, we would, we
We
used to
threw
throw corn at cars.
cars, yeah.
Corn at cars.
Yeah.
You know, we took corn until a police car came along. And they took off, and I just stood there behind the barricade that we were behind. I was panicked.
Did you get in trouble?
No,
No.
they didn't, it was so funny, because they went running up the hill, and the police lights went right up the hill behind them. And there I'm behind, shaking like crazy.
I remember when I was attending the school for women, which I went after. We went out and got some chickens out of the chicken coop and went to the kitchen and got pans. So we threw chickens down the steps and pans down the steps and made all this noise. And we scared this one girl so badly that we had to sit up with her all night long. We didn't get into trouble, which is surprising, but yeah.
What is your favorite decade?
Pardon?
What's your favorite decade?
I liked it when I was in college,
Mm-hmm.
which was in the 60s.
I enjoyed my college days
Because
too.
I went to Drexel, and I just, I lived in the country all my life, and Drexel was in the city, so it was really quite different living.
How long did you attend college, both of you?
I was 4 years at Drexel.
My school was just 2-year course, but it was for all women, no men, and we had agriculture, horticulture, or landscape design, and I took agriculture,
So that's what you majored in?
yes. And each year, the girls picked a cow. We had Jersey cattle, and we picked out an animal that
That's
we
right, I
got
remember
in
that.
fit and shape, and then we'd have a big show in the spring, and my cow's name was Lady, and I won the grand championship with her.
With, yeah.
Wow.
Go Nina!
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, you brushed her.
But you have to
and
take care of
her the whole.
And they, at that time, the cattle had horns on, and they had little lockets on there. And she was the sweetest animal. I just loved her. And there was a picture the following year, and unfortunately, she had a calf, and she died.
Oh.
Did the calf live?
Hmm?
Did the calf live?
The calf lived. It was a little bull.
Aw.
She got a thing called milk fever, which cattle get, and she
I
died.
thought about that.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do now.
What did you do for college?
I went to Drexel, I took home economics. It was a 4-year course, and it was very interesting. The most fun was you went into we had this house, and you lived in the house for 6 weeks, and each week you had a different, like 1 week you were hostess, and you had to, and 1 week you did pick all the meals and set up the meals, and so that you got a whole feel of what the family living was like, which was a lot of fun. And my husband Sam, he would always come over for dinner, and which was always fun.
Yeah.
Because he played ukulele, and after dinner, we'd all sit down and sing songs with the ukulele.
Really?
Yeah.
Like around a campfire, but inside?
Well, no, this was in
The house.
at the apartment. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. College was great.
Don't worry.
Yes.
How many women were in Drexel with you?
How many women were in Drexel with me?
Approximately.
Oh, that's tough. I don't really remember. Because there was home ec, and it's hard to say.
Were there a lot more men than women in the college?
Oh, yeah, because it had an engineering school, and that was their biggest school at Drexel. It was engineering. And then they had home ec. And they had several different courses at Drexel.
So were women only allowed to take home ed, or could they?
Oh,
take
no,
any?
we had some men in, because they would go into cooking later, into chef work. So,
Was that what was your favorite thing to do?
at Drexel,
Yeah.
I just loved the whole thing. I enjoyed, because I lived in the dorm, and got very involved with the dorm, doing dorm things, and so, yeah, it was nice not to have to commute each day, which some kids did. And you really felt part of the college when you lived in.
And I think that's important, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
You be
because-
part of the life on campus,
Yeah.
and because you make great friends out
And it was so different. I was in the country all my life, and Drexel was in the
there.
city.
Yeah.
And so you could go into Philadelphia, you know.
Did you see the what was it, the children's music
Oh,
festival
yeah.
thing?
Well, they would have the children's concerts at the Academy of Music, and you could do that. We did that when we were young.
Yeah.
I can remember we would go in, and then my aunt would take us to Horn Hart's, and we would get sandwiches, and then she'd take us to the train, and we'd eat our lunch on the way home on the train. And then we would pick up in Ambler by my uncle, who took us home.
This is really interesting, what she mentioned Horn and Horace. I forgot about that. This place had food in machines, and you put money in,
Yeah.
and this thing would rotate around, you could pick whatever. It was really
Fun.
fun, it
Was
was.
it like a different version of a vending machine?
Yeah, it was something that.
They used to call it the automat.
Yeah,
And so you could just go in and pick what, whatever, and you put your coins in, and they would go around to where you want it, and you would take it, and then we would take it home and
get desserts, and all
and then
kinds of
eat it on the
sandwiches.
way home. Eat it on the way
It was
home.
sad when that went out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't have that
it really
anymore.
was.
Because we used to love that. That was
That
exciting.
was a lot of fun, wasn't
Yeah, it was.
it?
What was money like in the 60s?
Well, I babysat a lot, so that's how I got my money.
Well, and I used to help babysit too once in a while. That was part of college.
Yeah. Because I remember I used to babysit, she went to the school of horticulture, and the director of the school of horticulture had 2 children, which were really wild. And, they had this beautiful rose garden next to their house, and these kids went and took all the signs off every rose bush. I never saw their father so mad in his life, because they didn't know which roses were which roses, and until they would bloom, and then they could put them back on. But he was livid with them.
So what were all your jobs? Like, what did you do? And you check for your
Well, when I first got out of college, I went to Emmaus to work for J.I. Rodale, which was a natural foods. But what I enjoyed more than anything, I got acquainted with a family that raised Arabian horses, and I was able to go help ride mares so they could teach stallions to have manners when they were in shows. So I enjoyed that. And but I was disappointed in that Rodale, because what was the name of their magazine?
Oh, I can't remember.
But they didn't live up to what they were preaching, in other words. So I didn't stay there too long. Then I went to work at Laurelton State Village, which was a home for girls that got into trouble, and they were.
Were you in trouble, some little lady?
No, I really liked my work there because these girls
Really needed
had
help.
disabilities too, and it was. I lived at a place called Farm Colony, it stayed at Farm Colony, where the girls would get up every morning and go to dairy duty or to poultry duty, and now they're not allowed to do that anymore. But
Could you elaborate on that more? Like, what exactly are those duties?
No, on, like, when you say girls who were in trouble, what do you mean by girls who were
well,
in trouble?
because of their disabilities, a lot were from Philadelphia. They were in gangs, but these girls had learning disabilities also. But I developed some close relationship with these girls because they were loving and kind. I remember one girl, her name was Lillian Lukaitis, and she was a sweet girl. And these girls would go out and work for homes and earn a little bit of money. They had a music place, and they had a theater where they would go. And
So what were your responsibilities at that?
well, when I first started there, I worked outside, called lawn duties, and then if it rained where we couldn't work outside, then I would go into the cottages as a matron and supervise them. And some of the girls had violent tendencies, and they would have to get help to take care of them.
How long did you work there?
I worked there from 56 to 60.
For 4 years. Did you like working there?
For the most part, yes, but there were parts that, especially when the girls became violent, and
It's nerve-wracking.
they were a little bit upsetting.
Yeah.
And how they treated them at that time was a little bit, they would have to sometimes.
What was it like being a woman in the 60s, and was it hard? Did you have the same opportunities as men? So, gender equality, was it hard?
Well, teaching was mostly women anyway, so it wasn't hard for me. And teaching home economics. In fact, one of the fun things was that the shop teacher would take the girls for 6 weeks and teach them how to hammer and how to saw and how to change, do different things around the house that would be practical. And I would have the boys, which was hysterical because they loved the sewing machines and they would see who could go the fastest. But they had to learn, I'd have lines that they would have, you would have to thread in, and they'd have to go on the lines to see if they could stay on the lines and so on. And then eventually they made it something for themselves too at home ec. But it was the 6 weeks change was a lot of fun. I don't think the shop teacher liked it as much as I enjoyed the boys. And the boys were a lot of fun.
What about you, Nina?
Well, when I started at Chef Boyardee, they had jobs, qualifications. Some were classified as women's jobs, which were inspectors and things like that. And then they had what they called men's jobs, which were driving the
Trucks.
tow motors and running machinery and things like that.
The actual
And
doing.
the men's jobs usually paid more per hour than the women's jobs. Well, then one day, and we had to bid on the jobs, and then they awarded jobs by seniority.
Could you elaborate on that? What do you mean you had to bid on jobs?
Well, they would post the jobs that were up for bid, and then you would put your application in for that particular job. Because the different jobs paid different wages. And the men's jobs, at that time, were considered more, requiring more knowledge, and you had to, other than sit there watching cans go by, but you had to supply lines and things like that. So one of the girls finally decided that she was gonna bid on a man's job, and that set up a storm.
Really?
Yes.
What happened?
She got the job because she had the seniority to do it, and it wasn't long after that the women started bidding on men's jobs, and I did the same thing.
Did you get it?
I got it
What
because
was
and I was running a machine that boxed up the cans after they went through the label machine. I was what they called a caser operator,
Yes,
and I
Nina.
really liked it.
Yes,
I
Nina.
really liked it, and although the men didn't like the women's bidding, they still helped you if you needed help, and I was glad for that because,
Did the men ever bid on the women's jobs?
well, they got put on the women's jobs sometimes, especially if you're the low man on the totem pole,
Yeah.
as they say. But, don't do that, you cut your hand down in
Oops.
there.
I can fix it.
So anyway, it was an interesting procedure, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's great.
So you said you went to Drexel.
yes.
Aiden, don't do that. So you said you went to Drexel, and how did you actually get into Drexel? Because was it a hard school to get into? And
No.
being a woman,
Well,
did that affect your chances?
I took home economics through high school, and one of my home ec teachers went to Drexel, and she spoke glowingly of Drexel, that I just thought, this is where I have to go to school, because I knew I wanted to take home economics.
Yeah.
And little did I know that my grandmother was in one of the first graduating classes of home economics.
Oh wow.
And I didn't realize that until I was actually in home ec, and I was there, and she started asking me questions, and then it came out that she had gone for home ec, which was thrilling for me to know, because I didn't. It was a real surprise.
Being women, how did it affect your life, like growing up?
Well, I think not too, it didn't affect me at all, because we had small classes and everybody got along really well. I mean, I had like 21 in my class. And we all got along, and we all backed each other up. It was really kind of fun, and everybody knew everybody. It's like the classes sizes weren't like what you have today. So 21 in the class. Do you have 21 in your class?
We have about maybe even 25, 27, or 30.
Well,
Yeah.
if you go to Penn State, there's hundreds.
Yeah.
They actually do the classes with, through, not computers, but, well, they get in big halls for these people and there'd be 100, 200 people. But and for me, I went to an all-girls school, there were no boys there, so it didn't affect me in any way, shape, or form.
Did the male school, were they all male schools?
Our brother's school was,
Doylestown?
Hmm?
Doylestown?
Doylestown, yeah, Doylestown.
Did they have a better education than women? Because I know that,
I didn't feel that
Title
at
IX.
all, you know, but then what I liked about our school, because women came from all over the world there. We had Japanese and English and different, and it was really nice.
You got to learn a lot about, because you hear these people, you would talk to each other.
Yeah,
Because they were small
Sure.
classes and you knew everybody.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like Waldron.
yeah.
You know everyone, and everyone knows everyone's business.
But we just loved.
I think back in that time, life was much more slower, and there's a lot more communication than you have now, and
Because we knew everybody.
yeah,
We knew everybody, which was nice.
and her classmates in high school were my friends, and vice versa.
And then we went by school bus, so you knew people because who was on your school bus and where they were picked up, so you knew where they lived. So,
And there wasn't all the drama there is today with everything that's going on in the government and then throughout the world. We didn't have all these groups like ISIS and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
What about taxes? Were taxes as high as they were now?
No, taxes were a lot lower. In fact, I think taxing is really stressing the, the older
yeah.
people. That's one of my concerns. Can I stay in my home because the taxes as things keep going up and I'm on a fixed income? And can I stay there? And I wanna stay there because I love my house.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about any other historical events? Any decade?
Oh, gosh.
You can think about
Well,
it.
the one thing that was so alarming is when they bombed the towers in New York.
9/11.
And also Kennedy.
Huh?
Kennedy.
Kennedy's that there, but
That was a big thing.
the bombing of the towers was, I was at home and when that came on, and I cried because those people did not deserve to die like that.
Yeah.
And and how the firefighters and the police officers all went in there and did what they did to save people was
Amazing.
amazing, and they're paying
Brave.
for it now because of breathing in all that dust and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And people forget to think about our firefighters, our police officers, our veterans, and even the poor people that live on the streets. It's unimaginable how these people exist when it's cold, they have no warm beds to get into. And God bless the medical people, the emergency people who are there for us every day and yet put their life on the line for us.
Did you guys know anyone that was affected by 9/11?
No,
Were you personally affected
no,
besides emotionally?
other than emotional,
Yeah, that's
no,
about it.
because we weren't there and
You didn't know
then
anybody.
did not know
I
anybody.
didn't know.
Any other events?
Well, I mean, we were.
Well, I am upset with the way these groups like ISIS,
Yeah.
Taliban, how they even kill their own people, how they displace people, all in the name of the religion, which puts a stain on the religion itself. Because just because you're a Muslim doesn't mean
You're bad
you're bad.
or dangerous.
No different than what we have in this country with the Aryan Brotherhood and supremacy groups are. We need to work together. In my eyes, a country divided cannot stand. And we are headed for trouble if we do not straighten up.
And that's not the way we were
No.
initially, this, not
Established.
established. that
No.
way.
Do you know what happened, like when it changed and started to become worse?
It's been within the last 10 years, don't you think? Yeah.
That's pretty
Do you know
close.
from which president?
It doesn't have to do with any president. It's just worldwide. And we have a lot of really bad issues going on. And we need to learn to communicate more. Just like,
It's not bothering us.
and we have to learn to communicate more. People are not communicating anymore. They don't talk to each other.
It's, yeah, they don't. I
They
mean,
don't.
No.
And when we were growing up, the kids were out playing. Yes, times have changed. They have changed. It is dangerous in this world now. And we didn't have that.
Mm-mm.
We go out and we'd be out all day long and be home by supper. Well, we'd be,
Yeah.
where are you? Get home here, But
We lived in the country and it was very easy, and we had our group of friends. I mean, we played baseball, we played
yeah, everything.
football, tag football,
Tag football.
Yeah. We had, in fact, this one, you remember the chicken coop we cleaned out for a clubhouse? We spent a whole day cleaning, I mean, it was thick with chicken manure, but we got it all cleaned up and then we never used it.
When did you clean it up for?
The
For
clubhouse,
our
the
clubhouse.
clubhouse. We did
Well, after we cleaned it up and, well, we lost interest in having a clubhouse.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But no, we had, we knew everybody on the road, and everybody was, and we knew all the parents on the road. There were some, right up there was a family called the Willets, and they made stained glass windows for churches and things, and that was very interesting. And
They used to let us help sometimes. Walk.
and we knew the children, and the one child, their birthday parties were phenomenal. They would have, remember the birthday parties? They'd have people come in with puppets, and it was a lot of fun. So we had a great group, I think, growing up.
Oh, I do too. We
Yeah.
were very fortunate.
Yeah.
Very
I
fortunate.
mean, our area where everybody was very friendly. I don't know of anybody that, we all talked to everybody.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fun. And I remember one mischief night, we got behind
Well, you talked about that with
yeah,
throwing corn.
throwing corn, yeah,
Oh,
that's,
God,
I did
yes,
talk
we-
about that.
We toilet papered too.
We got in trouble, but didn't get caught.
Well, and we didn't do any malicious type of things.
No, I mean, we didn't do anything that was really
But the main thing we need to do in this country is start talking to each other. The party lines have to stop being so divided. They have to get together for the good of the country, and it's not happening. And it's important that they sit down and talk. There's no reason why they cannot get along. Party lines are so divided now, it's beyond.
Well, we hope it's not beyond. I mean, hopefully we can straighten it out, but I don't know, it'll be a while.
Aiden? Aiden?
Yeah.
Come here. Do you want to ask any questions?
Why
You
not?
have to ask questions.
Yes. Why not?
We just ask questions.
Come sit down. It's your turn.
No.
We're gonna ask the questions.
Put those away, please.
Mhm.
So,
So yeah, how was World War One for you?
Do you think we didn't live in World War
World Two, I mean.
well,
talk
like I
like-
said, we were young, so we didn't. Well, I would have been only 9 years old.
But I remember, we bring canned goods in for school.
They had what they called rationing. You were only allowed so much sugar, so much gasoline. We had to
Butter.
save cans, right?
Yeah.
And it was a rude awakening for sure.
Because we were so used to having everything, without thinking.
Didn't we have cards for gas? How did they do that rationing at that time? I forget. I thought you had.
Well, you could have a book and you would take,
Yeah.
and take out pages of the book for the,
Did you lose anybody?
No.
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 no. We were
Our
very
only
fortunate.
cousin was in the Navy and he came home fine. And of course, they had Pearl Harbor.
You want to talk about that?
That was before, that started the war. So, being young, we weren't involved with it, but it was horrifying that when all those planes came in and bombed the ships in Pearl Harbor, and so many lives were lost because they didn't expect it. It was,
Yeah.
And they were on the ships.
They-
The-
yeah.
The ships were all, with all their people. So,
Eden doesn't have any questions and he needs questions.
He needs questions.
He's not.
Well, he has to ask his own set of questions
For some reason.
for some reason.
because you're
He was doing a whole